So apparently talking about sweet stuff is like the it's a conversation starter, right? You never know with those things. Sometimes, the one thing that I saw was a lot of smiles. I saw a lot of warmth. That was nice. So a big thing that we do here is meditation. Anybody brand new to meditation? Like never formally sat before? Just gauging to see if I need to give some more instruction. We're all seasoned pros. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, finding a comfortable, sustainable posture. We're going to sit for the next 2 hours in silence. No. Maybe 35. Maybe 40 if you're really good. I don't know what that means if you're really good. That sounded good in my head. So just bringing your attention into your body. Just noticing the points of contact that you're making with the cushion, maybe with the chair. Noticing how gravity holds you down onto a cushion, chair, the earth. Just starting with a bit of a body scan. Starting with the top of the head. And releasing any tension in the scalp. Allowing awareness to float down into the face. And just making sure that the brow is unfurrowed. The eyes are gently closed, if they're closed. And if you do keep your eyes open, it's helpful to just pick one spot, maybe on the ground a couple feet in front of you, to rest your gaze. Once the gaze is focused on a single point, allow your focus to soften a bit. Maybe your eyelids to just drop halfway. And then checking in with the mouth, making sure that the lips are soft, they're not pursed. The jaw is unclenched. The tongue is slack. If you're not sure what to do with your tongue, just gently rest it on the top of your mouth. So softening all the muscles in the face. And allowing awareness to float down into the neck and the shoulders. Releasing any tension, any stress that you can let go of. Just allowing your shoulders to drop away from your head. Sending awareness into the spine. Just straightening, elongating the spine a bit. And allowing it to find its natural balance. like a stack of coins. Maybe even imagining an imaginary string on top of your head and having it pulled up like a puppet master would pull a string, elongating the spine. And just bringing some attention into the muscles of the chest, softening, relaxing, letting go, the lower back, releasing. And really checking in with the belly. Another place a lot of us hold tension. So just softening the belly. Letting it go. No need to suck it in. You don't need to have a hardened core like you do in yoga. A soft belly lending to an open heart. And just breathing some peace and ease into the rest of the body. Maybe breathing a little bit of metta into the body. May my arms and hands be happy. May they be peaceful. May my arms and hands and fingers be happy and peaceful. May these legs, these knees, these ankles, these feet and toes, may they be happy. May these legs and feet be peaceful. May they be happy and peaceful. Breathing some of those metta wishes into the rest of the body, through all the organs and the bones and the joints, through all the veins, the muscles, and all the nerves through the whole body. May this body be happy. May this body be peaceful. May this body be happy and peaceful. And metta is such a lovely practice to offer to ourselves and others. And we also need to find some balance with it. So transitioning into the Upekkha practice, or equanimity practice. Much like metta and appreciative joy and compassion, will work with some different categories of people to bring to mind. And we'll use phrases of equanimity to extend to these different categories. But with this practice of equanimity, it's helpful to start with what most would consider the easiest category. We start by bringing to mind somebody that's neutral to us, a neutral person. Somebody that you're not closely connected to. Maybe it's just a far acquaintance. Maybe it's somebody that you caught a glimpse of on the street the other day. So bring into mind this neutral person. And then silently offering these phrases of Upekkha, or equanimity. Your happiness or lack of happiness depends upon your actions, your thoughts, your words, and not my wishes or anybody's wishes for you. Your happiness depends on the relationship, on your relationship to experience, and not the experience itself. Things are just as they are for you. You and no one else is heir to your karma, your actions, your words, your thoughts. So again, offering this balance to this neutral person. Your happiness or lack of happiness depends upon your own actions, not my wishes or anybody's wishes for you. The happiness or ease that you experience in your life depends upon your relationship to experience and not the experience itself. Things are just as they are for you. You're the heir to your own actions, your own karma. So just gently letting this neutral one go. Breathing some peace and ease into this body. And bringing to mind someone that you really care about. Traditionally, we call this the benefactor category. Maybe somebody that brings a smile to your face when you think of them. Friend, family member, partner, maybe an inspirational person to you. Bringing this benefactor to mind. Gently holding them in your awareness and then extending these phrases of balance, of equanimity to them. I love you. I care for you. You got to do the work yourself. The happiness or lack of happiness that you experience in your life depends upon your own actions, your own thoughts, your own attitudes, your own karma, and not my wishes or anybody's wishes for you. The happiness, the ease you experience in your life depends upon your relationship to experience, not the experience itself. Nobody can make you feel any way. It's your choice. Things are just as they are for you. I care about you deeply, and you're truly the heir to your actions. Simple cause and effect. So with appreciation, with support, with care for this benefactor, this friend or family member. Really opening our hearts up. Acknowledging the happiness, the suffering, the successes, the losses. I see you, I care for you. I can't do the work for you. The happiness or lack of happiness that you experience in your life depends upon your own actions. The work that you do, not my wishes or anybody's wishes for you. And truly, the happiness, the ease you experience in your life depends upon your relationship to experience, not the experience itself. May you experience some clarity in your life. Things are just as they are for you. No more, no less. You're the heir to your actions, to your words, your attitudes. And so sending this person, this benefactor off with a blessing, with some encouragement, checking in with this body, softening the belly, dropping the shoulders. Then we bring to mind somebody that's difficult. And we do this as an experiment for our own hearts, our own growth. You don't necessarily have to bring up your biggest enemy. Somebody that's maybe been a little bit of a thorn in your side. Somebody that irked you the wrong way. Somebody that you're able to work with in this moment without it being too painful, too difficult. So bringing this challenging person to mind, just for this moment, and extending equanimity to them. The happiness or lack of happiness that you experience in your life depends upon your own actions and not anyone's wishes for you, not even your own. Your happiness or lack of happiness depends upon your relationship to experience, not the experience itself. Things are just as they are for you. You are truly the heir to your actions, your words, your attitudes, your karma. Maybe that's why you're so difficult. Finding some balance within your heart in relationship to this difficult person. Sending these phrases of reality, of truth to them. Your happiness or lack of happiness completely depends upon the work that you do yourself. Not anybody's hopes, aspirations for you. Your happiness or ease depends upon your relationship to experience, not the experience itself. Things are just as they are for you. You are truly the heir to your actions, to your words, your thoughts, your moods, your attitudes. And this can sometimes be tricky, gently letting go of the difficult person. Try not to be too aggressive, removing them from your awareness. Just let them fade away as gently as possible. Maybe taking a deep breath in and breathing out and letting go of any remaining energetic anchors to that difficult person. Just releasing. And breathing some peace and ease into your heart, into your mind, into this body. Noticing the breath. Maybe noticing the energy level of the body right now. Noticing any areas of the body that feel at ease, that feel peaceful, or just neutral. Maybe breathing a little appreciation to each of those areas. Noticing any areas of the body that are sore. Might have an injury or an illness, maybe a chronic condition. Bringing some attention to any of the areas of the body that you're not happy with. Trying as much as possible to meet each of those areas with radical acceptance. Using the reflection from Ajahn Sumedho that right now it's like this. Breathing in acceptance with some compassion to this body, to the aches and the pains. On the in-breath, try breathing in some phrases of Upekka, of equanimity, to yourself. My happiness or lack of happiness depends upon my own actions, the way I carry myself in this world, the way I react to this world. And not my wishes or anybody's wishes from me. The happiness or ease that I experience in my life depends upon my relationship to experience, and not the experience itself. Nobody can make me feel anything. It's up to me. Things are just as they are for me. And then deeply breathing in the acknowledgement, I am the heir to my actions. I am the heir to my words. I am the heir to my attitudes and my moods. I'm the heir to the simple cause and effect of karma. Breathing balance into our hearts, our minds, and our bodies. I think the Tibetans even call it ruthless compassion. Completely balanced with reality. My happiness or lack of happiness depends upon my own actions, and not my wishes or anybody's wishes for me. The happiness, the joy, the ease, the serenity that I experience in my life depends upon my relationship to experience, and not the experience itself. Things are just as they are for me. No more, no less. I am the heir to my actions. Breathing in that acknowledgement. Breathing that truth in. I am the heir to my actions. Then sharing this truth out in all directions to everyone in this room, whether you know them or not, whether they're a friend or a soon-to-be friend. Sharing this truth beyond the walls in all directions. Everyone in our community, not just the ones that walk on two legs. Friends that fly, our friends that slither, the friends that climb trees and have fur or feathers or scales. Extending this balance out beyond our community to all people of all lands, all nations, all economic backgrounds, all races, all genders, all those non-identified. To the smallest little babies, those about to be born, to the sick and the elderly, to the ones that are dying. Extending out to all beings in all directions, the known and the unknown, the seen and the unseen, the near and the far, the weak and the strong. All beings' happiness or lack of happiness depends upon their own actions, and not my wishes, your wishes, or anybody's wishes for them. That's not my bill. All beings' happiness or lack of happiness depends upon their relationship to experience, and not their experience, not the experience itself. Things are just as they are for all beings everywhere, without exception. All beings are heirs to their actions, their words, their moods, their attitudes, their karma. Sending this balance out to all beings without exception. All beings, happiness or lack of happiness, depends upon their own actions. Not my wishes or anybody's wishes for them. All beings have to do the work themselves. Nobody's going to do it for them. The real work. All beings, happiness or ease they experience depends upon their relationship to experience, not the experience itself. Things are just as they are for all beings everywhere. All sentient beings in all directions, without exception, are truly heir to their actions. And this simple truth connects us all. We're all in this together. We all have to do our own work. Just letting go of the phrases. Bringing attention back into this body. Noticing sounds. Noticing movement. Noticing we're not alone. Breathing in acceptance. Breathing out peace. Breathing in truth. Breathing out balance. Breathing in present moment. Breathing out wonderful moment. So in addition to everybody here, we just meditated with 4,840 other people. And by the way, if you don't use Insight Timer, you should. I don't get paid for it, by the way. We have a group on there. If you just search for Portland Insight Meditation Community, you get to see throughout the week when we're meditating together, and you can even send a little encouragement. It's a little button. Thanks for meditating with me. I get about 5 a week from Had, maybe. So we are going to get up and move ourselves a little bit, and our friend Jim is going to guide us in some mindful Qigong.
All right, testing. There I am. I'm back. So, standing, letting the weight shift, coming into consciousness of earth element in our bones, and our weight and our connection with the earth. Might turn a little bit and feel the intelligence of the body moving in a balanced way, whether we're putting all the weight on one side or all the weight on the other. There's responsiveness, awakeness, alertness in the body. We don't fall over too often. Okay, so let's just bring all the weight to one foot and relax the other, and then stretch out and come back. Stretch out with that soft leg. It's connected to the floor, but it doesn't have that earth element. It's just touching. Then we switch. Earth on one side, movement on the other. Connection and balance and stability on one side, and lightness on the other. So I did a workshop yesterday. Preparing for it, I discovered a pattern of movements that I hadn't done in 10 years. And I learned them a long time ago and forgot them. So I'm getting reacquainted. Let's lift our arms up and relax down. Sink into the knees the way we usually start. A lot of things in martial arts and Qigong start with this. Just waking up the shoulders, waking up the knees. Getting in touch with the breath and suggesting that as we lift, the breath is in, the breath returns back, down, with a descent. All the cells of the body get refreshed on the inhale. All the cells get a chance to release. Relax on the exhale. Once more. And then we'll just leave the palms at ease in front of us as if we're standing in front of a countertop. And then lift the hands. And we'll step towards the window side of the room and push gently. The palms are down, sort of calming the waters. And then come back to the center. Feel that countertop again. Soft hands, soft knees, full breath. Lifting, stepping towards the trees in the yard. Calming the waters. And back to the center. Balanced. Everything's at peace, quiet. Then this one's a little more energetic. We'll lift both hands so the palms are towards the trees and push the waters. Then come back and push towards the street. There's a little more energy flowing here, waking things up. Coming back to our countertop, feeling the soft curve of the arms, the shoulders are soft, the elbows are soft, the wrists are soft. So there's no joints that are locked and holding back, just a flow of energy up the back of the body, out the palms of the hands. Lifting both hands, letting the palms face each other, and then moving towards the street side. We'll follow a big drum, breathing in when we come up and out when we go down. Lifting the toe, feeling the aliveness in the ankle, lower leg, soft shoulders, open hands. And then returning to the center, feeling that equanimity and that balance. Everything's the same on both sides. Lifting, stepping out to the other side, following the drum, noticing the feet, the back foot, absorbing all the weight and then transferring it. The shoulders lifting, stretching forward. And then back to the center. This time we'll open the palms forward, step towards the street, and form a ball of energy up above. Let it fall down, and then dissipate, and then reach out again and find a ball of energy, lifting the toe, shifting the weight. Breathing in and releasing. Back to the center. Opening the palms, stepping out again, reaching up, forming a ball, letting it fall and dissipate, arising and passing away. And back to the center. Now let's see, how can I do this? We'll take the hand that's on the street and place it in front of your face. Bring the other hand underneath like you're holding a ball. And then move towards the street. Just shifting the weight a little bit. Turn the globe and bring it back. So we have movement on one leg. Both hands stay oriented, then they move, then they come across together. Once more this way. Once more the other way. Back to the center. Then we're going to lift both hands up to the shoulder and step towards the street and stretch that hand out. Rock back and move the other hand forward. So we're pushing and pulling a little differently than we usually do. Again, there's a different mood, a different feeling of energy when we're doing opposite with every part of our body. Okay, coming back to the center, breathing, lifting the hands, stepping towards the trees, stretching outside hand or the tree side hand and then the other hand. I feel it like it's inside. This hand is inside the room. This hand's going out. So after that opposition, then we come back to balance, and then a very soothing breath work with just lifting the hands and pressing both hands out And then turning the wrist and gathering. It's a whole different mood. And coming back. No movement, just the breath. Lifting, pressing towards the trees, turning the wrists, lifting the toe. And back to the center. Then I can't do Qigong without doing cloud hands, so I'll reach up, focus on the palm of my hand, let the other palm face the earth, and draw both hands across. When the weight shifts, the hands switch. Focus on the top hand, that's a cloud moving across the sky. New cloud. But then there's a shadow following the cloud across the earth. So the human form takes this position as a bridge between the earth energy and the heaven energy. And we create different postures, different gestures in order to blend these energies in our everyday life, staying stable and grounded, staying light, intuitive, open to possibilities. The cloud can take any shape it wants. And then releasing both hands down, we'll sink. Reach up overhead, bring the palms together. Bring the palms down in front of the heart. Make a lotus blossom by just drawing all your fingers in, smelling that lotus scent, and then sending it out into the world. Opening again. Down the center. Form the blossom, enjoy the blossom, share the blossom. And then come to stillness. Just noticing the predominant sensations in a still body. We've moved in all different ways for a while. We've been breathing a little deeper. Where's the vitality in this standing form? It's everywhere. Just let the attention move from one noticeable sensation to another. They arise and they pass away. But the awareness is steady and open. Sensations come and go. Feelings come and go, thoughts come and go, and then there's the awareness. And an awareness of gratitude for everyone being here today, joining together. Thank you very much. Down here.
Good morning, Sangha. And good morning out there in internet land. I feel very happy to be with all of you here this morning on this really bright, somewhat chilly fall morning. And I hope you're all having a good morning. So the way things are going to go for the rest of the day, so we've got a Dharma talk coming up. And then we have hospitality, where you can come down and have some treats and yak with other members of the Sangha. And if you are new here and you've never been here before and you feel the least bit uncomfortable about going down into some place where you don't know anybody, please come and see me after this, and I will set you up with a Dharma buddy so that you can have somebody to talk with and ask questions to and feel like you can get to know this place. It would be a shame for you to not experience community just because you feel a little uncomfortable. We can do something about that. We also have, during that time, we have Dharma consults, where if you want to start a practice or if you have some questions about a practice that you're continuing, you can check in with our friend Kate. Kate? Oh, she was sitting there. All right. So Kate is sitting over there, and after the Dharma talk, go in that direction or sign up on that sheet of paper in the back by the door, and they're 20 minutes each, and she'll help guide you. Kirsten, would you want to talk at all about the Karma Yoga pizza party coming up next week?
You did it again, Avi.
Kirsten, I said Kirsten.
You said Kirsten, but that's closer than last time.
Okay, I'm getting there. All right.
On? Yes, it is. Hi, I'm Kirsten. I help with volunteer coordination here. So next Saturday, I believe that's the 21st, we'll be having a Karma Yoga party here with pizza, right? And that will be an opportunity for all of us to come together in community and help keep this beautiful place beautiful. So, maybe we'll be vacuuming and we'll be washing windows and things like that. We'll have a list of tasks to do. So, and then we'll all get together and have a lovely pizza meal and have some time to get to know one another a little better too. And on that note, I wanted to mention, I haven't mentioned it in a while, there are name tags as well, and you're welcome to them. There's some out front and there's some by the back door where you come in too. We wear them just so that we all can feel comfortable and see one another easily without having to ask every time, what's your name again? It always feels a little nice to, oh, okay, I remember that person, So you're welcome to that, but you're not obligated to it. So.
Okay, thank you. And Kirsten is our volunteer coordinator, or our acting volunteer coordinator until we find somebody more permanent. We also have some needs for some other volunteers to work during the month to help keep things up, housekeeping, hospitality. If you want to deepen your connection with this community and take what you're doing on your cushion and put it out into the community a bit, please see Kirsten, and she'd be happy to set you up. Yes? The work party is going to start at 9:30, go until 4, and if you have a boombox and you have a playlist of your jams for getting stuff done, please bring that, because really the stuff that we're doing to keep this place up is just an excuse for us to get to hang out with other people who are on a mindfulness path and to have some fun and to spend a day together. We, as part of the whole community thing, you may not know this, we have a fundraising committee. And in addition to people giving of their time, we also accept Dana contributions as well, and we are also going to be starting a fundraising campaign this year to try and get a ramp installed on the side of this building so that we can be fully accessible. And questions about how to give and why people give frequently come up. And I think, Wally, would you like to say something about that?
Well, good morning, everyone. I want to start off this real quick with a completely disconnected kind of comment. I wouldn't have been here today because we were going to be down in Sonoma County with family for a bar mitzvah, and they called it off because of the danger to the community out there from both the smoke and the fires. So when you think and you meditate and you send off metta, also send off tons of gratitude to those men and women who were working 48 hours, 96 hours straight to save other people and save other people's things and other things, but still, their life. And I've known a number of firefighters, and especially in Southern California, and I know how hard they work and how much they give of themselves, and it's just awesome. So please send gratitude to them as well. I give every month through a website through our website. We have this little bitty thing, and it says, okay, how much do you want to give a month? And so I go click, and it's gone. And I set it up till I turn it off. And it makes it very easy to make a donation here. But why do I do this? I do this because this is a community of people that I have a chance to be around to talk to about my meditation. Dharma consults with Kate signing people up, other kinds of facilities, classes. This facility is here, and the teachers are here, and the staff, like Avi, are here because we give. And so I ask you to join me. Go on the website, click the month, to do the contributions, do it quarterly, do it monthly, what have you, maybe annually, to help us keep this community going and strong, and to be able to provide not just for people today, but for 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people are going to be still walking in these doors. There may be other teachers, there may be other staff, but it's your giving is karma that creates this place for those who come in the door next week, next month, next year, and the years beyond. So thank you. Join with me. Donate today, just a few dollars in the back. There's a giving bowl back there. What? Or more. Yeah. Hundreds of dollars. And I'm a retiree. I'm living on a fixed income, but I find money within my budget to be able to provide something to this community to be able to keep it going. So I know we're all struggling along with money, so or at least I am. But nonetheless, I think this is a very worthwhile cause, a very worthwhile community, and a very worthwhile group of people. Buddha said, hang around with people of like mind. This is a community of like mind where you can share your thoughts about meditation, which is a great journey. So thank you.
Thank you, Wally. We are an open community. We don't charge dues. If you've never been here before, we make what we do freely available to anybody who walks in the door. You walk in the door of your community, and that necessitates the ask to keep this place going. In terms of things that are coming up, so we have a number of events during the week. We've got a Sunday evening sit that is happening, I think is that 6:30? Yeah. Okay. And then we have on Monday, we have a Monday sit, Monday book group, and then we have a Tuesday morning sit at 9:30. We have a Tuesday PM sit at 7 p.m. and then we have a Thursday night sit, which is Gary's. And then we have a Thursday sit at 7:30 p.m. So we have a pretty full week. We also have some events coming up. So Robert is doing a Buddhist psychology class that starts this week on the 18th. There are still sign-ups available for that. He only gives that once a year, if that. That is a really wonderful teaching to experience. He is also doing his Brighton Bush retreat at the end of the month. There are still sign-ups available for that as well. And you can find out about all of these things by going on the website at portlandinsight.org. I wanted to put in a word about social media, that we have these events that are coming up, and if we can leverage the power of social media and in your own private networks, you see these events and you're excited by them, please feel free to share the Facebook events on your own personal networks, and let's strengthen the signal by getting out lots of different streams of network announcements for it. And then that way, we get more people coming in and we get community. Speaking of community, we've got something called spiritual friends or Kalyana Mita groups. And this is not so obvious. It's kind of buried in the website. The Kalyana Mita groups, or the KM groups, are these small independent groups that have been set up through Robert, and they operate independently outside of PIMC, where you have friends who are in your neighborhood and you're able to get together and meditate or talk about the Dharma in your own living rooms. It doesn't have anything to do with what goes on here. It is a more intimate kind of sharing with people who live close to you. If you would like to become a member of that kind of a group, on the website we have a listing of them. If you would like to start a group like that, please contact me and I can facilitate you talking with Robert about what would be involved in setting up a group like that. These groups are really a wonderful thing to have. You don't have to wait to come here in order to experience the joys of community. In case I didn't mention it, my name is Avi. And my role is community coordinator here, or one of my roles is community coordinator here. And my job is to try and help you connect with this community in any way that feels good for you, in terms of the teachings, in terms of deepening your connection with community by helping be active in this place. My office hours are posted. I'm here Monday through Thursday, most of the time in the mornings. Call me, email me, come and see me and yak with me. I am happy to get to know you and find out how you and this community can become closer with one another. Thank you very much for being here. Blessings on your day.
Just got a good view of my bald spot. Equanimity. So before I begin, I wanted to mention that a friend, and she's taught here, I just saw pictures, so I don't know when, but Jaina Gabar, Jaina Warm Nest Gabar. She's a teacher in the Thich Nhat Hanh community. She lives up in Battle Creek, Washington. She just entered hospice and it doesn't look good, so just wanted to send some metta out to her and her family. She was a surviving ex-Jehovah's Witness as well, and so I really connected with her on that. Mentioned to Kate when I ducked out back. Equanimity is kind of a heavy practice, huh? It's my friend Pablo Das, who's a teacher down in Los Angeles. He recently, I saw him post, he was doing a series on the Brahma Viharas at Inside LA, and he called it 3 Wishes and a Reality Check. I love that, right? Well, so the Brahma Viharas are, which Brahma Vihara That's the Pali term. It gets translated as the divine abidings, the heavenly abodes. My favorite, I think, is the sublime attitudes. So it's these practices that we extend our hearts and to ourselves and to others. So it starts with metta or loving kindness that we did a little bit in the practice, wishing for ourselves and others to be happy, to be safe and protected, to be healthy. May you live with ease and peace. May you be free from suffering. A beautiful practice, transformative practice. My favorite practice. I love it. Completely changed my relationship to myself and others. That's one of the practices. Then we have karuna, compassion, extending compassion to ourselves and to others, really meeting the suffering, meeting the difficulty of life with compassion. This thing's pulling on my ear. Mudita, the third. Brahma Vihara, the third wish. Appreciative joy, sympathetic joy. Taking delight in the successes and the happiness and the accomplishments of our friends. And some of the people we don't care about either. Combating envy and comparison, jealousy. So these wishes, these transformative, lovely, lovely practices. And then we have Upekka, or equanimity, the balancing one, the reality check. As much as we want our friends and our family and the people we care about to be happy, to be healthy, to meet all difficulty with compassion, may their successes and their accomplishments not only continue but flourish in their lives. So lovely, and I can't do the work for you. You got to do the work yourself. I really like the term that Trungpa Rinpoche coined. He called it idiot compassion. That's the thing that we have to watch out for. His student Pema Chodron says it refers to something we all do a lot and call it compassion. In some ways, it's called enabling. The general tendency to give people what they want because you can't bear to see them suffering. And so, think about that enabling. I'm in long-term recovery, so I'm quite involved with, was involved with 12-step, involved with refuge recovery. In addiction, enabling, so many family members, people that are involved in these relationships, they think that enabling is helping. I'll give you a little more money. I'll give you a place to stay. I'll drive you here or there. And enabling somebody in addiction does nothing but extend the suffering. It doesn't meet the problem. It's a Band-Aid. It's written like Pema says. I can't stand to see you suffering, so I'm going to do something about it to just take my mind off of it right now. I think I'm helping. But, enabling extends so much further than just, in the addiction model. How many of us do that in our lives? We care for people so much. See that with our kids. How can we not want to do everything and protect our kids? And then they get a little bit older and they don't want to be carried around anymore, and they want to pick out their own clothes, and they want to have their own friends, and they want to do their own things, and they don't want to go to the PMIC on Sundays. I want to stay home. We have a kids program in the back, by the way. I have my oldest daughter's a senior in high school, and so she'll be going to college next year. We are really lucky to have great kids. She went and traveled somewhere by herself to visit a school, and flew by herself. And she's flown by herself before, but this is like young adult going somewhere, staying with people we don't know, checking out a school that she may attend. I can't hold her hand anymore. I can't carry her through life. And that's not to say that it's this just complete letting go. They're get out of here. You're done. Of course, we want to be there for our loved ones. We want to be there to support. We want to be there to encourage. We want to be there to pick them up when they fail. We want to pat them on the back when they have their accomplishments. And they need to do the work themselves. It's so hard, especially when they're suffering. It's easy to do when things are great. Yeah, go on. You got an egg? All right. You got that new job? Right on. When they're suffering, though, that's the tough one, and that's where the practice kicks in, where we find some balance. We find some balance between as much as we wish and we want to love and support, and there's the reality of the matter. Codependency and enmeshment. I think about that a lot too. We talk about second noble truth. The cause of suffering is clinging, right? But then how do we find balance in we most of us live with people. We're related to people. We may have partners or kids or whatever. How do we balance that Buddhist idea of non-clinging, non-attachment with our loved ones? And my early teacher, Noah Levine, had a good kind of a metaphor for it. Usually when most relationships are like this, just completely enmeshed, totally clinging, gripping. And the healthy non-attachment is like this. It's not this. It's like this. Just like loosening our grip up. Finding some balance. For me, I'm sure I've talked about this before because it's still such a big part of my practice, I try every day to let go of all my expectations. If I believe into my expectations, if I lock into my expectations for all of you and for myself and others, I suffer. I don't know about you all, I have really high expectations. I have really high. Rarely does life meet my expectations. And when I believe in that stuff, I suffer. And so that's, finding this balance, finding this equanimity within just the reality of the world. As much as I would love a great job with lots of money and very little responsibility, and I need to live in reality. I've had a lot of conversations about expectations lately. I have people around me that really don't want to give those up, and they battle against the idea of letting them go. How am I going to have motivation? How am I going to get through life if I don't have these expectations? And again, I think it's finding that balance. The Buddhist idea is setting an intention, but not being completely attached to it. I need to pay my bills. I want to succeed, maybe get an advancement in my my job. I want to, and if it doesn't work out, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna crumble. That's the one line in things are just as they are for you. That's a big hit of reality. And finding balance, not falling into total despair, not falling into total idiot compassion, head in the clouds, rainbows and puppy dogs just around every corner. Balancing it all with equanimity. It combats dissatisfaction or discontentment. And this kind of completely tied with expectations, but just those ideas. It shouldn't be this way. Why does this always happen to me? Not again. I don't deserve this. Is that really that skillful? Is that really that helpful to hold on to that stuff? Kind of loosen it up a little bit. I mentioned Pablo Das earlier in talking about the Brahma Viharas. I love Pablo Das. He is a powerful teacher. Hopefully we'll get him up here. I'm looking at it. Where's Avi? Hold me to that. I want to get Pablo Das up here. He's got a strong voice. He is an empowered Buddhist teacher. After the election, he had a lot of stuff to say. He's gay and he's out, and he's been super vocal about empowerment and about not being passive. And that's a big thing about equanimity as well. That the near enemy of equanimity is yeah. See, I'm just letting that go. I can say pacify. But so when I think of Pablo, he's also a singer-songwriter, and he wrote a song about the Brahma Viharas that I wanted to play. This was recorded at a retreat, so there's a little bit of maybe some laughter or some background noise. If I knew that would have brought up that much emotion, I would have played it anyway. Oh. So, isn't it beautiful we have this community? We get to support each other. and have it balanced with reality. So, the Buddha gave this small collection of teachings. He called it the 5 subjects for frequent recollection. This reality check. I am the nature to age. I am the nature to get sick. I am the nature to die. All that is mine, beloved and... Can't read my writing. Pleasing. Thank you. Will become... You look like pleading. Like, what's the pants have to do with this? All that is mine, beloved and pleading, will become otherwise, will become separated from me. Reality check here. I am the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, born of my karma, related to my karma, supported by my karma. Whatever karma I do for good or ill will, of that I will be the heir. And so I know karma can be a loaded term. The original teachings of the Buddha, it's simply cause and effect. It's not this, oh God, I hate hearing people saying like the Jews in the Holocaust, it was their intergenerational karma. Bullshit. No way. Some of the religious leaders out there saying that, the hateful religious leaders that say that, the people in Puerto Rico deserve that, the disaster. That's not how karma works at all. It's just simple scientific cause and effect. If I do good, if I put good in the world, I'll receive some positive things back. If I live in hate and in anger and in lying and deceit and all that, it's gonna come back. So, that's the reality check. There's no one pulling the strings. It's not fate or destiny. It's simple cause and effect. It's Dharma. Dharma gets translated as reality, the truth of the way things are. And that's the good news. We can actually do something about it. We don't have to be passive. We can help. We can donate to great causes. Oh, like this place. We can. This is a lovely action here that Michael so beautifully, thank you, Michael, does throughout the year, gathering unused goods from the community, blankets, sleeping bags, clothing, warm clothing, hopefully waterproof clothing for the homeless in our community, transitional projects. So yeah, we can do suffering in our, we can do something about the suffering in our community. We can do stuff about the suffering in our own lives and the people around us, and just finding some balance. So our hearts aren't just broken at every difficulty. It really, I think I said during the meditation, it's just a big acknowledgement that we have to take responsibility for our life. We have to find balance within the ups and downs of life. We need to find balance within the triumphs and the tragedies. It's always going to happen. We get so focused on the economy, the state of the political climate in the world, the recent tragedy in Las Vegas, so horrible. So much fear and uncertainty and just related to the economy and everything else. It just feels like there's this groundlessness. Most of the people I know are struggling financially right now. It doesn't seem like it's getting any better. And it's always like this. There's always ups and downs. This isn't like, it may look a little different, but it's not new. There's always there's always going to be death. There's always going to be sickness. There's always going to be somebody, until the whole world awakens. There's always going to be war. There's going to be somebody taking advantage of somebody else. So again, it's the responsibility of taking on this practice of equanimity, taking on this responsibility of dealing with the ups and downs of life. The other Buddhist idea of the eight worldly winds, right? This world fluctuates between praise and blame, between success and failure, between pleasure and pain, between boom. I wrote down praise and blame twice. By the way, I didn't know I was going to do the talk until yesterday, really. So it was a late night for me. That's the good news. We can find freedom within this constant state of change. Within the fear, within the uncertainty, within the uprisals, within we live in Portland. How many of us have had our cars broken into? We're still living here, right? I can assure you, you can find some happiness on the day that your car was broken into. The day you go out and you find all the broken glass, and maybe your sunglasses are still in your car. Maybe those quarters you've been saving up and not using for so long that have been sitting in the little... I think I've talked about this. I had a vintage, was a 1980 Honda Express moped, powder blue, mint condition. I've been saving it for my oldest daughter, who's now, she's of age to drive, she just hasn't gotten her license. Equanimity. I can't take the test for her. I got the book for her. There you go. But I've been taking this moped around for me for years and years, and I had it. It's mint condition, but I had it fixed up a while ago, and I run it occasionally, make sure it's running, and I'm just looking forward to giving it to Violet. Oh, I can't wait to give it to Violet. And then when we were moving from our last place to our new, when we got the keys to our new place, we didn't start moving yet. But 3 days after we got our keys, and I work from home, so it was during the day, broad daylight. I was home. I went out to take out the trash, and the cover was there, and the chain was there cut, and no more moped. And the first thought that came to mind was, I don't have to lug that around anymore. And then I called the cops, and and they told me they couldn't do anything about it. Well, that's life, right? Gain and loss, praise and blame. Some of the other, fame and disrepute. I like that one. I get too full of myself. A while back I gave a talk that was just, I still have the 500s talk that you can find on YouTube and on our Ustream thing. I love that talk. I walked out with such a big fucking ego. The next one I did, reality check. Can't hit home runs every day. No way. I love Sharon Salzberg. Her book, Loving Kindness, which is actually on all the Brahma Viharas, I highly recommend. Sharon says, I want to read this other paragraph first too. When we introduce the practice of metta meditation, loving kindness, we ask the students to evoke their deepest aspirations, the things that they want most for themselves in life. Sometimes it's quite difficult to know what is the best we could offer ourselves. Do we want comfort? Do we want excitement? Do we want freedom? Do we want security? What do we want most fundamentally in this life? And do we achieve it through trying to control the endless change of circumstance, or do we achieve it through learning to let go? The practice of equanimity is learning deeply what it means to let go. The four boundless states that we call the Brahmaviharas, or divine abodes, culminate with equanimity. In Pali, equanimity is called Upekka, which means balance, and its characteristic is to arrest the mind before it falls into extremes. To arrest the mind before it falls into extremes. Equanimity is the spacious stillness of the mind, a radiant calm that allows us to be fully present with all the different changing experiences that constitute our world and our lives. Equanimity is the spacious stillness of the mind, a radiant calm that allows us to be present fully with the different changing experiences that constitute our world and our lives. That's the good stuff. Radical acceptance. A complete letting go with balance. So it's a practice, right? It's part of the Brahmaviharas. I still can't figure out the proper way to hang this thing without pulling on my ear. So it's a practice. We begin to realize equanimity. We find the spaciousness, the stillness within the recognition of reality. It's also a state that's achieved, and specifically within the jhana practices. And I will say that a lot of teachers, I found through the years, a lot of my teachers didn't want to talk about the jhanas at all. Robert's not one of them, by the way, but the jhanas are the deep absorbed concentration states. Very completely helpful for helping deepen your Vipassana practice. That's been my experience. There's the first four jhanas, they call them the Sutta jhanas, and this is one of my teachers, Shaila Catherine, wisdom wide and deep. She comes from the Burmese tradition, we're connected to the Burmese, through Robert, to Ruth Dennison, to Ubekkha, who was the teacher of Goenka as well. Shaila was trained by Pa'ak through Mahasi Sayadaw. The Burmese have great instructions on concentration states, on the absorbed concentration states. In the suttas, though, so this is from the Buddha. First jhana, secluded from the sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states, I entered and I dwell in the first jhana, which is accompanied by an initial and sustained application of the mind with rapture and happiness born of seclusion. First jhana is rad. So that's the first jhana has the characteristics of there's some Pali terms. Vitakka, which is the initial application of the mind, of focus. Vicara is sustained attention on that focus. And then the qualities of piti, sukha, ekagata, and upekkha. Piti is rapture, or it's delight, pleasure, or enthusiasm. Sukha is happiness. Joy, contentment. Ekagata is the one single-pointed focus of the mind, and then Upekkha is equanimity. So first jhana has all these states, these characteristics. The first few times I hit first jhana, boy, I was floating on cloud nine the rest of the day. Oh, just so lovely. The piti and sukha just filling my whole body. On one of the times I did it, I used a Lee Brazenton, who's empowered by Upekkha, also in the Burmese lineage. Is that right? I'm trying to remember who empowered Upekkha. I don't know. Lee Brazenton, great teacher. He's got great books about jhanas. I like the Burmese and these specific Mahasi Sayadaw instructions a little bit more myself. His teacher, Upekkha, highly recommend any of her talks. Find it online, some of her books too. She was awesome. She also, like Ruth, she survived the Nazis, and then went on to become a monastic. Ruth was a lay practitioner, but Ayakema was a monastic until she passed away, I think in the 80s, and most likely a fully enlightened teacher, somebody that could survive the atrocities of the Nazis and go on to teach the world beautiful practices. So I tried a little Lee Brazenton instruction to focus the mind on a pleasurable spot in the body, that sustained attention. And for me at the time, well, he recommended maybe doing like a half smile on your face. And so I did that, and I stayed on that smile, and I stayed on that smile, breathed into the smile, and when First Jhana culminated, when it was realized, so much happiness and joy was in that smile, it felt like it was bigger than the house. It was amazing. And you know, the times after that, I did it on retreats. And also I recommend, unless you want to meditate for an hour plus a day, every day, you're probably not going to get a chance to experience the jhanas unless you're on retreat, like a week or longer silent retreat. So yeah, after this on retreat, hit first jhana, just walking around the rest of the day, just cloud nine, just beautiful, so peaceful, so lovely. And it didn't last. It gets refined as I practice the jhanas more and more. It just feels good. There's no more of that through the roof feeling. So second jhana, the Buddha says, with subsiding of initial and sustained applications of the mind, I enter and dwell into the second jhana, which has the internal confidence in unification of mind, is without initial and sustained applications of the mind, and has rapture and happiness born of concentration. So second jhana lets go of that vitakka and the vikara, the sustained and the initial and then the sustained application of the mind. Still with the piti and sukha, and with the balance of equanimity and the single point of focus, the ekaggata. Third jhana drops the rapture away, the piti, the delight and pleasure. Still, the sukha happens, and so the Buddha talked about third jhana, with the falling away as well of rapture, I dwell equanimous. I know this one. With the fading away as well of rapture, I dwell in the equanimous and mindful and clearly comprehending. I experience happiness with the body. I enter and dwell in the third jhana, which the noble ones declare. He is equanimous, mindful, one who dwells happily. Man, the noble ones talk about it. Must be good, right? The states get more refined. So, after first jhana has all these states, and then it gets more refined, and some of the qualities start to fade away. And so, third jhana, we lose rapture. Fourth jhana happens, and the Buddha says, with the abandoning of pleasure and pain, with the previous passing away of joy and displeasure, I entered and dwell in the fourth jhana, which is neither painful nor pleasant, and includes the purification of mindfulness by equanimity. Fourth jhana is just equanimity. Fourth jhana is that quote that Sharon talked about, the spaciousness, the sublime calm, the spaciousness of mind. Fourth jhana just lets go of all that, where the other jhanas was like a single point of focus, and then it just opens up. And for me, it just felt like awareness was just this vast, endless, still pond. And by the time you hit first jhana, you've probably been sitting for maybe a couple hours. Or I'm sorry, by the time you hit fourth jhana, if you've already refined the previous, it takes a while. So you can sit, you can actually, in the Burmese instructions, you can say, I'm going to dwell in fourth jhana for 3 hours and sit. And by the time you're at that point, that's usually what happens. It's wonderful, it's expansive, it's lovely. Maybe a lot of us might not experience that. The good news is we can get glimpses of that spaciousness in our daily life through the practice of equanimity. Finding balance within the ups and downs of life, we can get these glimpses of when we let go. We can get this stillness, this spaciousness. I think I would bet that most of us have had moments of that through our life, just spontaneous. Just maybe we saw that one sunset. All the stories faded away, and we were just there with that sunset, and it was a minute or two or whatever it was, maybe a moment. Maybe we heard a piece of music that just transcended everything. We can cultivate those moments more and more. And it's through equanimity. It's through letting go of the expectations, letting go of the comparisons and the judgments, and finding that balance, finding that spaciousness within the ups and downs of life. I love that term, the radical acceptance. That's really what it is. Tara Brach, her book, Radical Acceptance. Three wishes and a reality check. That's what I really like about Buddhism. You don't have to have blind faith. There needs to be a little bit of faith, but it's based on the experiences that we've already had. So it gets a little sticky. And we hear faith, and it's a totally loaded word, but if we've been practicing a little while and we've had these experiences, then we can start to rely on it. We can start to apply a little bit of faith in our lives that our practice will get us through this, whatever it is. We have like 6 minutes, and I don't know if we maybe have time for a question or two. That's not a whole lot of time. Or a comment.
You want me to run the mic?
You can or you can't. Sure. Either way. That was an equanimity joke, by the way.
Thanks for your talk, Gary. I had something that I've been thinking about recently. I feel like many, many years ago I had something that matches what you described as the first jhana experience. And then years after that, I had a medical emergency where I needed an emergency surgery. They didn't know what was wrong, but I was able to heal completely. And during the first few days of that healing, I had this real, everything in life is a gift now. Why do I need to worry, that kind of stuff. And I knew that would pass, but I wonder in reflection whether big experiences like that seem to really open the consciousness are just blips and then you go back, or whether they have some lifelong impact. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts or insights about that.
Yes. The story of the Buddha was he remembered when I think it was before he was enlightened, before he went and sat under that Bodhi tree. He remembered when he was a kid, he was out in a field, and it was a spontaneous. He experienced first jhana, and it was beautiful, and it was spacious, and it was open, and he remembered that. And so again, there was that faith. I experienced this before, and now I can use this now. I can can find freedom through this right now. So those experiences are great, right? And the I've been really kind of locked on this term lately, the realizations. Nobody taught us this. Nobody put up a diagram and showed us about this. We experienced it ourselves. We realized probably something we already knew already. That's why it's so kind of big and like, oh yeah, I already know this. Clearing the dust from my eyes. So these experiencers are lovely. They sometimes they're just lovely, and they're impermanent, and they come and they go. The one thing we want to be careful not to chase after them. That's what's so easy to do. Next time I sit down, I want to have the same thing happen again. I want to recreate this experience. Sometimes these experiences do change us for good. I mean, shift in perception. I will say, because of the extent of my jhana practice, it has completely changed the concentration levels that I have now. It's had lasting change. And when I have an expectation, and I sat with Steve Armstrong recently. He taught out in Damascus. He did a weekend non-residential retreat. He's the one that put together the Mahasi Sayadaw Manual of Insight. So yeah, he's an amazing teacher. He knows all these instructions. He teaches this. I had a little bit of an expectation. Hey, I'm going to go sit with Steve and I'll work on my jhanas. Yeah, first day I suffered. I tried so hard to hit first jhana, and it was that night I realized I'm just trying too hard. That's the big thing. With all of this, it boils down to letting go. With the jhana practice, the only way that you're successful is when you completely let go. And so with these experiences, we just got to let them go. We can't cling to them. And maybe it changes us, and maybe it just is. Thanks, Mickey. I don't hear the kids. One more question, maybe?
Thank you, Gary. I just wanted to address what you said about the difficulty of the karma concept. And, when you hear talks about karma, you have this feeling that, well, if you could just do all these, good things, then you're going to enjoy the benefits of those good things that you do. But, it very quickly arises that you're not going to be able to do the good thing all the time, because you're not even conscious all the time of the possibilities that exist to do those good things, or you're tired, or you're irritable, or you just can't do the best or right thing all the time. And, I guess that, for me, that's why the self-compassion practice is, feels so fruitful, because there is a sense of despair around the idea that, you're going to be able to, be conscious and present and loving in every moment. So, I don't know if you could address that tension, because in some ways it feels, very crushing, the whole karma, idea.
Yeah. So thank you. And so when I first heard your question, I immediately just thought, that's expectation, right? We have these expectations. If I do good, I'm going to receive good in return, and that's not how karma works. It's not like a bank account with a payout right away. We can't have the idea that I'm going to do this, and this, which I know are pure and wholesome and good, and then expect some kind of outcome. We just need to do it because it's the right thing to do. And there's the cause and effect in the moment. I'm not doing bad, so I'm not causing bad or difficulty or challenges or whatever in the world. I'm doing things that are skillful and wholesome and pure. That's the other thing about the state of equanimity that the Burmese really talk about: purification. So we need to make sure that our intentions are purified. We need to make sure that our actions are purified. We need to make sure that our thoughts are purified as much as possible. And we can't expect a payout. Now I lost the second part of your question.
Well, I guess it's just about the fact that despite our intentions, we can't, meet the mark all the time. And, in that simple way, not in terms of a payout, but just that kind of our life, what happens to us kind of reflects, what we bring to it. But knowing that we can't always bring our best to it, it's sort of like a heartbreaking realization. I don't know if there's an answer to it.
That's what this practice is all about. Just finding balance in our life. We can't do everything all the time. We can't sometimes we got to do stuff for ourselves. Sometimes we need to just stay home and watch Netflix for 3 hours. It's, I really think it's helpful to use that idea. What's skillful and what's not skillful? What is this thing that's in front of me? If I do it, is it going to create more freedom or less freedom in my life? So just taking each situation one at a time and knowing we can't always do the perfect thing all the time. And that's where then it's balancing it with compassion, with loving kindness. I'm not, when I do something that's not the best decision, when I do something that may have hurt somebody unintentionally, and I offer myself forgiveness. Hopefully it wasn't intentional. Maybe it was. Then I need to clean my act up a little bit and make amends. But yeah, that's the thing. We aren't the victim of our situation. We can take action. Are the kids waiting? All right. So we for those of you that are new, we circle up. We hold hands.
Oh, as we're forming, Kate, could you raise your hand? Kate with the raised hand is the one to see for Dharma consults if you would like one after the circle is over.
There's a sandwich after.
Oh, I think I got it. Can I sit next to you? Is that okay? All right, thanks. I like your glasses. Do you think those would fit on my head? Oh. So, can we all hold hands? Thank you. Just acknowledging that not only are we connected by our hands, but we're connected by our hearts. You knew it. She knew it. And that we're all in this boat together. We get to support, we get to love, we get to encourage, we get to experience this life together. That's a lovely thing. So giving a little squeeze to the person on your right, wishing them well, wishing them happiness, wishing them a big bowl of ice cream or non-dairy treat. Giving a squeeze to the person on your left and wishing them big, colorful glasses and a big smile on their face and a song in their heart.
Ice cream.
And then
Ice cream.
an ice cream too, yes.
Ice cream cone.
And who is going to do the singing today? There you go.
May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you all for coming today.
Yay.
May we all wake up together. Thank you. Oh, yeah, the candle. On the count of 3,
One.
and everybody gather their strength and their love and their forgiveness up. And on the count of 3, blowing out the candle. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you all.